That was John Cafferty with Hearts on Fire from the soundtrack to Rocky IV. Joe, oh man, that's special. That is special. Back when we did Southpaw, you said that sort of as average as the film was, it made you want to go back and train again.
Oh yeah. Southpaw has phenomena. Rocky IV has that.
Yeah.
Rocky
IV has that and so many more. That's the thing. That's why that's so
the whole
much.
soundtrack, the whole Rocky franchise has millions of.
Still content though. Rocky 2 is my favourite. It'll always be my favourite.
Like Rocky 2 takes quite a long time, like because the whole hour of doing very mundane things, and then he finally realizes what he's got to do, and then he does it. The last hour is fantastic.
It all builds up to the end of the fight. He's scared, and I'm getting, I can't take it. That's a break.
So this week, as in today, 15th of January, there is a new Rocky film, Creed. Rocky 7/Creed 1. I think Creed 1.
Nah, I can't go. We've got to call it.
It's got elements of Rocky, but this, I hope, is the start of Creed.
We'll the next one, like Creeds.
Creed 2.
Creed
harder.
Creed harder. Creedy.
So what do we think of Creed?
That's good.
Great. Thanks for listening to the Spot show. We're back next week at 3 o'clock.
Rocky, it's a long franchise with a very storied history. I mean, it's like the ultimate men's franchise, isn't it? It's like the underdog sports movie that everyone, it's the typical underdog story personified by the most lovable actor probably ever. I mean, if you hate Sylvester Stallone, there's something wrong with you. There really is.
Yeah.
There really is something wrong with you. He's just so inherently lovable. Long franchise all the way back to the 80s. Some films better than others. Some films much better than others in a lot of different ways. And this time, I mean, in Rocky Balboa in 2006, that was Rocky's comeback story. It was plausible back then. It wasn't going to be plausible now.
It was still weird, though.
But
it was still strange.
I mean, yeah, but Rocky 1, fantastic. Rocky 2, fantastic. Rocky 3, really good. Rocky 4, fantastic because it was cheesy and camp as hell, but still fantastic. Rocky 5, I guess. Rocky 6, great. That is how it is.
Everyone's got different orders, though. That's what I like. Everyone takes different
I'm not even going to try and order them.
It's like with any franchise. Everybody has
them. They're all different entities. The only two brilliant films are probably 1 and 2, maybe 6. But they're all working in different ways. And now it wasn't going to be plausible for them to do another Rocky comeback story because Sly Stallone is sadly way too old and, time catches up with us all, as depressing as that sounds, and this was the best way to do it, by bringing in Michael B. Jordan as the son of Apollo Creed, who was killed off by Ivan Drago in Rocky IV. Spoiler alert for 25 years ago. Don't kill me for that.
Well, to be fair, I hadn't seen Rockies until last week.
Yeah,
any of them.
I know, but you've got to know Ivan Drago by now. He's like he's the best villain ever, man.
It did end the Cold War, didn't it?
It did end the Cold War. Too frightened. So this time in Creed 1, we pick up, and Michael B. Jordan is the son of Apollo Creed. His mother died before he was born. Apollo Creed, it was an affair basically, and Apollo Creed's ex-wife picks him up from juvie as a young kid and brings him into the house, and he grows up, and bar fights in Mexico, sort of unscheduled, still pro fights, but sort of proper barroom brawls, and he's working on his job in an accountancy or some kind of office, and he's basically just wanting to build his way up, but he knows that he wants to fight. He knows he's got Apollo in his blood. He's constantly watching videos of him, and all he wants to do is follow in his footsteps, and that's when he decides to go to Adrian's, the restaurant, where he finds Rocky, and basically just picks at him like a woodpecker. I know Rocky brings that out as a statement himself, just goes at him to sort of convince him to train him, and eventually Rocky decides, you know what, forget it, I will train him because I feel like I've got a connection here, and that's basically how it goes. Rocky trains Creed. I mean, it's the best direction that the franchise could have gone ever. I mean, they could not have done another Sly comeback story, and now they've brought in Michael B. Jordan, who is absolutely terrific as Creed, and that is the biggest thing that this film does. It makes sure that it doesn't veer away from the journey of Adonis Creed. It is always focused on him. Everything relates to him emotionally, physically. Rocky is always there. He's always sort of the mentor, and that's the thing with Creed. It follows the formula of Rocky, but it makes sure that it stays fresh enough and personable enough to react in different ways and surprise us in newer ways.
And that's why I think Creed 1, not Rocky 7.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's you're very right. It is Creed 1. It's still Rocky 7. I mean, it's the Rocky legacy.
It's got ties. It's definitely a spin-off.
But but it's so much more personable and relatable than there's a much more you feel it in Michael B. Jordan's acting and the way he expresses himself through the fighting and through the more sort of downbeat moments with Bianca, his girlfriend that he develops as he moves in. It's fantastic.
She's also fantastic. Tessa Thompson.
Yeah, Tessa Thompson, absolutely terrific. But Sly Stallone. But what more can be said? I mean, he's been always good as Rocky. He's always been great, but none of them have been Oscar worthy. This is Oscar worthy. This is the most relatable and the most down to earth, the most vulnerable I think you've ever seen Rocky at all, apart from when he's been on the floor.
The gloves are off.
Yeah, when the gloves are off, and it's just it's brilliantly nuanced, and it's so emotional. And there's so many scenes like when he's in a graveyard visiting Adrian and Paulie's graves, when he's talking about his life and the people he's lost. You really feel that, and you feel the weather of a man who's seen all of this, who's seen every Rocky, who's been through it all, and the soundtrack builds up all the way to the key score, and I don't care if it's a spoiler, but you do hear the key theme, and it works so well. It's a brilliant soundtrack. It all looks fantastically well. Ryan Coogler is what a director that man's going to be. 29 years old. He's already done Fruitvale Station, which was exceptional for me. Now doing Black Panther. Colour me excited for that. The look of it all, the cinematography, it's terrific to see, terrific to feel, and just terrific to watch in every way. Michael B. Jordan, that man is going to be one hell of a star, and I really can't wait to see what he does, what they all do next, what Coogler does next, what Rocky does next. And I'm not going to call him Sly, he is Rocky. I mean, he said in his Golden Globes his imaginary friend, but it's fantastic. It is exactly what the Rocky franchise needed to rejuvenate itself, or the Creed franchise to start itself.
Joe?
Yeah, I wasn't too keen on the idea when I first saw the trailer, but yeah, 100%. I think the film has the absolute perfect mixture of enough callbacks, but enough for Michael B. Jordan's character. With there's tons in the film.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, at first I was kind of unsure about it, but the more I think about it, the more I really like the film overall. Yeah. But yeah, Sly Stallone. I mean, he's been nominated for
yeah.
And yeah, his performance is probably the most vulnerable we'll ever see Rocky ever.
Yeah.
And
I think you feel his flaws and his gravitas as a man who has seen it all.
There's a continuation of the theory that boxing films aren't really about, or any sports film isn't about the actual sport.
Apart from Southpaw, which was.
Yeah,
that
which was
annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's just that line that's in the trailer. It's like, if I break, there ain't nobody gonna fix me.
Mm-hmm.
You feel it, man. Oh, he is a generally good actor who's just picked a lot of generic roles at times, and I think it's finally fantastic to see him win a Golden Globe like he did last week, and finally finish the legacy that he deserves.
My perspective as a new Rocky watcher is that I love this franchise and I'd happily sit and watch more. It gets you so pumped, it gets you so hyped. It's just, they're so much fun. They all kind of follow the same sort of formula apart from 4, which is just completely loose cannon, whatever. No, I really, really like them, and I think Creed is a really sort of faithful new step forward. Well, it kind of takes the mold of Rocky and it makes something new. It's gonna break it new generations. I think the Scoutser.
Does he stand with the other Rocky villains, Ricky Conlan?
Not really.
Ricky Conlan?
Actually, I think he's probably one of the most empathetic in a way.
Yeah,
even though he is like kind of a villain, he obviously, the reason he does what he does is actually probably more reasonable than Rocky 1's reason for like fighting Apollo Creed.
I've seen big criticisms of the film by saying that Rocky's a bit of a pushover when it comes to getting to training Creed in the end, but I mean, he's never been able to decide what he wants. Like in the first one, being trained by Mickey was, he's always been a pushover, and the rematch with Apollo Creed. But yeah, I mean,